Good morning. On Saturday, here we are. Um, Good morning, Dave. I just saw you a few minutes ago. Um, yeah, no class yesterday. YouTube keeps changing my ability to do things. I used to be able to edit the class descriptions remotely and um, put in like a message that we saying that we weren't going to have class. Now that's gone. So, yeah, I don't really know. Now I've had things that they've taken away that have come back. So I think sometimes that happens. But yeah, I really don't know. So it's anybody's guess really what's going to happen with this whole thing. So we'll just try to be flexible and if there's no class turning up at 10 past or whatever, pick one of the videos and we'll just not worry about it. Good morning, Deb. Um, yeah, there are definitely some limits to the technology, and um, I mean, I'm very grateful. It's a free platform, and I really don't have any. I really don't have any room to complain about that. But it would be nice if there was some explanation of why or how or when things are going to change, because it's a little disconcerting when it happens. But anyway, so here we are today, and it's Saturday. Um, and yesterday was Friday the 13th. I hope you had a good day. Um, Mine was relatively uneventful, I would say. Um, Friday the 13th, I always think about it because I'm trying to think if my son was born on the 13th, and I'm trying to think if it was a Friday the 13th. I'm not sure, but I always seem to pay attention to that a little bit more because his birthday was on a 13th. Um, all right, so let's talk a little bit about gratitude today. Um, I think gratitude is such a powerful tool to kind of steady our sense of well-being, and it's uh, it's a practice, right? We can focus on. It was a Monday. How do you know it was a Monday? You probably took off work, so that's probably why you remember that. 20 years ago, you can remember what days you took off work. That would not surprise me. So, gratitude is a practice that we can kind of bring into our life, especially um, in hard times, right? When things are easy, gratitude can be really helpful because it keeps us tethered, right? When things are going really well in your life, sometimes um, it's easy to kind of get a big head about it, right? And start thinking that you're pretty clever, you're pretty awesome, pretty fabulous, which you are, no doubt. But it can bring you back down to earth a little bit to remember, who else helped you? What are you grateful for? What helped you to get to where you are? Um, Giving people their um, what they're due, right? So that's part of um, a stay, right? Making taking proper responsibility for your role and for the role of others, giving people their acknowledgement. Um, and this has become kind of rare, right? There was a time, and I every now and then, I see Dear Abby in my news feed, and I'll read it. And Dear Abby, bless her heart, is still plugging away, talking about writing thank you notes, um, which seem, hopelessly quaint in this day and age. Although I'm sure that you all grew up with parents or grandparents who insisted upon a thank you note. Um, I don't think that's very common for younger people nowadays. But perhaps it should be. That is a wonderful practice, not only for when people give you a gift, but when someone does something kind for you, when you get um, customer service above and beyond, when someone takes a little extra time out of their day to help you get what you need. Acknowledging that is really important. Um, that's the kind of behavior that we want to encourage. And I can remember reading about, you know, parenting books and things about this idea. And, I mean, it's the same thing with dog training books. I mean, it's all the same. You want to reward the behavior. You want to encourage that good behavior by rewarding it. The bad behavior, you don't you just sort of you move past that, right? Say, okay, this isn't good. We're moving past it, but hey, this other thing you did was great, really good. Keep it up. Um, that idea of positive reinforcement works in all spheres, um, and making that a practice can really help sort of push that out into the world. That kindness, that um, helpful feeling. Um, we talk about spreading our light, and that's a very tangible way to do that. Thank people um, for what they've done for you. Remember that you don't do any of this alone. You have a whole support structure, right? Teachers that have helped you, your parents, your friends, um, strangers. I'm trying to go through a program to get some money back for some of the home renovations that we've done. The state has a program working with some different communities to help offset some of the costs. And the woman managing that is just delightful. She's so helpful and kind, and takes her time with you. Very easygoing. Very very. You can tell this is a very important job to her. She feels like this is a very important job, and that's amazing. So yeah, you can bet I'm going to take special, you know, attempts to thank her boss, and to make sure that she knows what she's doing is appreciated. Um, and that's really all that any of us want, right? We want to know that what we are doing is of value. It's appreciated. Um, it's not just wasted space. So tell people that. Um, it's good for you, and it's good for them. It's good for the world. It's a way of spreading your light. Um, so if you have trouble with this, right, sometimes it doesn't seem like things are going well at all, right? You may be having a very rough time. Maybe you don't feel like you have much to be grateful for. But I can guarantee you do. You just have to go a little deeper. Maybe it's not that clear, but it's there. think about it a little bit. Think about what could be. Um, that we are here and living and have some food to eat and a safe place to sleep. These are all things that many people in the world may never have. Um, it is not a given. And if, this past year has taught us anything, I hope that that perhaps is one of the things that we didn't know how good we had it. We have so much stability in a very unstable world, um, and that's really an important thing to remember and to be very grateful for. It doesn't. It's not a given. It can change in a moment. Um, so, doing our part to keep things stable, to keep things um, moving along is really important. So every day, think of something that you're grateful for. Um, if you're really having a struggle with this, maybe write it down. We don't talk too much about journaling. I mean, that's a big thing in yoga, sort of the yoga community, this idea of journaling and writing down your thoughts and um, this being very helpful, right? To whenever you're working these different things, sometimes it's very abstract. So to write it down makes it concrete. You can look at it. You can look back and see where you were last week, where you are this week. And I think when you feel like you are struggling, that's not a bad thing to do. Is to pick up pencil and paper and write it down, let it out. And if you write 10 pages of things you're angry about, but you can find one thing to be grateful for, that's a start. Um, Sometimes the act of putting things down on paper, uh, it releases it for you. So you don't have to carry it around with you. You set it out, you let it go. Um, and this, of course, is a great practice too if you're having conflict with people, right? We talk about how anger and all of these different emotions and things that we're having, there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's very normal to be experiencing these type of emotions. What is not normal or not acceptable is to vent them out on the people that you're having issues with, right? Um, but you can write whatever you want. You can dictate it. If you're not good at writing, you can keep a video journal or an audio journal. Um, Letting that stuff out of you is a way of expelling the feeling and the emotion in a very non-damaging way, right? There's no there's no bad thoughts. There's no um, anything that you've thought someone has thought. Right, the worst, the most terrible, the most mean thing you've ever thought in your life, so have so have I, and so has everyone else. um, the trick is to not act on those things, right? Not take it to the next step. And if we can let them out, let them go, um, we don't need to, right? It's gone. We can move on to the next thing, right? And maybe the next thing will be annoying, and then we'll let that go too. Um, so journaling, I think, can be very helpful. Some people are very reluctant. I'm not a great journaler. I'm kind of awful at it. I do it from time to time, and usually, when I'm struggling, right, it helps. Um, but I think for many people, it's a really good practice, right? And I think that's we've gotten away from that in our culture has become much less. I mean, one of the really interesting things about uh, history is that we have all of these journals and diaries and things that people did back in the day that lets you know a lot about people's daily life and what they were going through and what they were thinking about what they were going through. So it's something that we've done from the beginning of written word. You know, we've used this tool, so it's it's time tested, and you can give it a try. It may really have some value for you. You don't have to show anyone. You can burn your journals if you're nervous about someone seeing them someday. Um, it's all good. Um, but see, see if it helps. I think this year in particular is probably a great time to be working on this because this is kind of unusual. It's been a very unusual year, and documenting that for yourself in some way may be helpful for the future. All right, so let's be grateful that we're here, that we are breathing and able to move, which is more than many can. Um, Even if we have aches and pains today, we're here and we are moving. So it's good. I was talking with Dave this morning that I think that's just being tired. You get up in the morning, you're tired, right? I think that's maybe that's the difference between adults and children, right? Children wake up and they're refreshed and ready to go. Adults wake up and they're like, yeah, get right back into bed. That'd be fine. I don't know. All right, sitting up. Relax the shoulders. Deep breaths, sitting up tall, and then head down toward the chest. Just let your head hang down. And moving around, big circle. One way and then the other. And lean forward. And we're going to move around with the body. A couple of times in one direction and then the other. Back up to your seat. Let's lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Arms wide. Take a deep breath and then exhale. Hands together in the front. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands. Gaze up. And then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Once more. Lifting up. And then right hand down by your side. Reach across. Switch sides. Back up. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind. Sit up tall and twist. Back to center and switch. Back to center. Let's walk the hands out. And then hands behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Gaze up. And back up to your seat. Tabletop. Let's move through a couple sets of cat-cow. Inhale and exhale. Sitting back on the heels. Child's pose. And then coming back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Step the feet up to the hands. And fold for a few breaths. You can move around here or be still. It's up to you. Rising up. And standing tall. Breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back with the right. Drop the knee. Arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Step back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And lower. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up. And lower. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. More breath. Then step the right foot up. Drop the knee, arms overhead. And hands down to the mat. Back foot steps up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, arms high. Back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop your knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And lower. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Lifting. And lower. Once more, lifting up and lowering down. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. One more breath, then left foot steps up. Drop your knee, arms overhead. And hands down to the mat. Step up the back foot and fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Let's step out to the side. Hands at the waist. Take a breath. And then lean forward. So hands might come down onto the mat, onto the floor. Whatever you want to do. Rising back up. Take a breath. And then facing the front. Right leg is out, left leg behind. Interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulders back. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. Let's release the hands down to the mat. We're going to shift weight into that right knee and then lifting up the back leg. So maybe you just lift a little, that's fine. Or you can lift a fair amount. Just kind of steadying yourself. If you have to set the foot back down. If you feel wobbly, and just try it again. And then set the foot down. We'll step the back foot up and be in a fold for a few breaths. Rising up, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Stepping out to the side again. Another fold. Hands at the waist. Lean forward. So again, bringing hands down wherever you want. Try something maybe different than the last time. You could walk the hands back. Pulling the body down. You could grab a hold of the big toe and use that to kind of pull the body closer. Whatever you feel like doing. Hands back to the waist. Use that strength in the legs to lift up. If you feel lightheaded, hands over the head. Step the feet in about shoulder width. Round about there for your squat. Hands together. Take a deep breath. Bend the knees. Lower down. Nice and upright through the body as much as possible. Breathe. And then back up. Release the hands facing the front with the left leg out. Hands behind. Deep breath. Fold forward. Bring your hands down, bend into that left knee, and then we'll lift the back leg. And again, just work with this however you want. We're trying to maybe bring the hands close to the foot and the head closer to the knee. But if that's not feeling possible today, then Just be wherever you need to be. And breathe. And then set the foot back down. You could be in a fold for a few breaths. And then rising up, hands back by your side. Deep breath in and out. And let's come down to a seat. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Take a deep breath, fold forward. Moving back up, both legs out in front. Deep breath and fold. Let's bend the right knee. Hug that in close to the body. And then we're lowering the knee out to the side. Sitting up tall. Take a deep breath. And then folding forward. Reaching down for the foot or the ankle, whatever you can reach here. And then we're moving up. Let's switch the legs around. So hugging that left leg in. Take a couple of breaths. And then lower the knee. Sitting up tall for a breath and then reaching forward. Back up. Both legs out. One more fold. Inhale and exhale. Moving back up. Bend the knees. And find some place on your mat where you can rest comfortably on your back. Breathe. And then let's bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. Maybe drawing that left leg in closer to the body, or if hips are really tight, maybe we just keep the left foot on the floor, press the right knee away from the body. It's all the same pose, it's just how much intensity do you need today? How flexible are you feeling? Set the foot down and we'll switch. Left ankle is on top. And then set both feet down. Let's extend the legs long. Take a few breaths. Bend the knees again, soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to set up for bridge. I'm going to do regular bridge, but you could also do supported bridge here if you prefer. Pressing down with the feet and the hands, lifting the body. And then lowering back down. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Relax and breathe. Bringing knees together. Hug them into the chest. You can rock a little side to side. arms out to a T or goalpost arms. We're going to start lowering both knees over to the right. Back to center and moving left. Back to center. Let's rock a little side to side. And then having your hands on your kneecaps here, we're going to rotate. Few rotations going one direction and then back the other way. Moving to happy baby, reaching for the instep or the ankle or really whatever you can reach here. And breathe. And then release. Feet extend, the legs straight up. And when you feel ready, lowering the legs down. Resting comfortably on the mat. Moving into Savasana. Relaxing breath. Resting comfortably on the mat. Focusing on this space, this time, releasing any thoughts that pop in. maybe the biggest thing to be grateful for is that connection that we have to the divine, that we share with everyone, right? That's amazing. We just have it. We didn't do anything to earn it. We weren't given it because we're smart or clever or beautiful or successful or rich or any of these things. It just is. It's who we are at our core. That peace, that stability, that knowledge is within us always. Everything else is just noise, right? Weather, right? That's a very famous sort of um, example. This idea of um, the sky and the sun, right? So the sun is our spark of the divine. The sun is there always. We can't see it. Frequently, there are clouds, there are storms, there are events, right, that keep us from seeing it. It gets dark, right? Sometimes the sun is so far away, we can barely, we know it's there, right? But we don't see it. Um, it's the same way, right? The storms that come and go are, our anger, our fear, our worries. They are just moving across, but they don't change the sun. They don't change the sky. And if we're smart, we don't allow them to change us either. We just experience them and then they move on. And then we experience the next thing and it moves on. So let that sun within be your source of strength, of stability and security. Maybe now more than ever, this is the time to rely on that. That is never changing, no matter what is going on around us that may seem unsure or unstable. Making your way back up to a seat when you're ready. We jump right into that. You can take your time coming up. Bring your hands together. Take a deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time to share some yoga with me this morning. I hope you have a really good Saturday and rest of the weekend. Namaste. Thank you. Moving into meditation. So you can always just stay on your back too, right? If you know we're going to do meditation after, you might just want to rest on your mat to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you might be more likely to fall asleep. But, that's not the end of the world either. I like to do seated meditation because then when I get in the habit of this, then I feel like I can do it anywhere, right? Because you can't always find a place to lie down, but you can almost always find a place to sit. So let's move our way into that. Finding a comfortable place to sit or lie down if you want. Steady breath, close your eyes, find that focus, whatever that might be today. And just keep breathing. Oh, opening your eyes, coming back to awareness. Breath in and breath out. Okay. Yoga and meditation for Saturday. Enjoy your weekend, and I will be back on Monday.